I guess I'm everyone crazy.
Alright, it should be going now.
I mean,
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Oh dear. For those of you noting the silence, story time does not begin until Scrappy Fan 92 actually sees game footage on his screen.
Yeah, like, did you start?
Yeah, it's going. It's going.
Okay.
Scrappy, you good?
Back to silence.
Do you want?
I mean,
to
I don't
start,
have.
Scrappy?
We're already started. It doesn't matter what I do because I'm not reading for the first half.
Yeah, but I mean, like, do you want to at least welcome?
Yeah, this is your show.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Is it really? Is it really?
The B team show now. Let's go. All right, welcome to
yeah.
story time with B team friends.
My name is Raideran, and I'm here with Petriva.
B team gang, let's go. We're reading Touhou for today. Is love kind of magic?
We've also silenced Scrappy, so he's sitting in the background. He won't say anything.
He's in tears. We're stuffing his mouth full of food right now. We've taken over all of his roles. Here, Raideran, he's gonna be the narrator for today.
I can't keep it up. I'm gonna be honest. I can't keep it up.
Of course not, of course not. I can only keep it up because my brain's dead right now, you know?
Comedy bits are hard for me.
Comedy? Who said anything about comedy? This is just natural.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sitting out for the first half because I had to order dinner late because, well, I haven't really eaten much today, so Raideran and Pedri will be taking over for reading this Touhou story about Alice and Patchouli knowledge.
Yep.
And yeah, that seems to be it, huh? Oh,
Scrappy, are you okay?
yeah. It seems he's dead. Crazy.
Well,
I guess.
that went well.
Wow.
Alright, show's over. We
Yeah,
can't
show's
continue
over.
without Scrappy.
Scrappy
Yeah, we
just
just killed off the main character. I don't think we can continue this way.
I had to just disconnect. I knew no one was responding to me, so I knew something had gone horribly.
Oh, yep.
There you go.
I think so the gods of story time just say, yeah, we must screw over Scrappy like every time. It's important.
It's honestly amazing. It's like impressive at this point.
I like how it happens
New innovative
immediately when we.
ways.
I like how it happens immediately when we start recording.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine for the past like hour and a half that we've been chilling here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
He back.
Scrappy, sound off.
1, 2.
I hate
Sound-
my life.
Oh man.
Sound off in the comment section below.
If you made it this far, be sure to comment.
Be sure to comment nutsack.
This is why I don't leave you all unattended.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the
real
thing,
story
we
time
weren't
with B team and
unattended.
friends would be
you were
messed up.
you were in the call with us when we said it.
That's the best part yet. Really, things just get crazy when we're not reading. So maybe, we should move on to that.
Yeah, maybe we should move on. Scrappy, should I continue with the introductions?
No. I'm Scrappy, Harry, Pedriva, Raideran. Read.
That's like Scrappy's like, behave, children.
Behave.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna start with Is Love a Kind of Magic by Gamera Ramen.
Nice name.
I am drawing a blank. Does he read the summaries?
Not
Or does
usually. I think usually we just go. You can read it if you want, but
It would be helpful to
Spoilers.
contextualize what the story's about.
Dang, okay.
Okay, I guess I will read it then. Patchouli has been dating Alice for quite some time now, and the two of them really care for each other. But when Patchouli causes a big romantic misstep, she's worried the relationship is ruined. Can she find a way to make things right before it's too late? Patchouli Knowledge, magician of the Scarlet Devil Mansion, muttered to herself as she wrote down snippets and formulas from the magic books strewn on the table in front of her.
5 alpha. And then back to the.
Her assistant Koakuma was hard at work while Patchouli searched through the books. Koakuma and the countless helper fairies were tasked with keeping the mansion's great library in order, as well as helping Patchouli in her duties as a magician. Right now, they were all catching up on organizing the library, as its sheer size made it impractical for Patchouli to personally fetch and return every book she needed. And with how many books Patchouli often reached for on any research topic, just ferrying the books to and from their rightful places was a large task.
2. And then from the moon and back to.
For several weeks now, Patchouli had been trying to develop a way to communicate between planes of existence. She'd hit a serious roadblock in transferring the energy required for it, but this new research might just be the breakthrough she needed. See, by focusing the moon's energy into a certain quadrant of the magic circle, it should be possible to...
Lady Patchouli, Miss Alice is here.
Patchouli looked up from her work when Koakuma got her attention, and then shot out of her chair and dropped her pencil. There was her assistant, fluttering in place with a book in hand, and next to her was Alice Margatroyd, the greatest doll maker in Gensokyo. Oh shoot! They were scheduled to have a date today. A quick glance at the grandfather clock against the wall told Patchouli that yes, Alice was right on time, and Patchouli was sitting in her pajamas, scribbling down notes at her mess of a desk.
Hi, Alice.
Gods, why had she lost track of time like this? Alice's face bloomed with that beautiful, dainty smile that always made Patchouli's heart skip a beat, as perfect as the dolls she made. Hello, Patchouli. It's lovely to see you again. I'm narrating this. This is my story.
And you're not part of it.
Patchouli nervously looked at Koakuma and then back to Alice.
Sorry, but I was kind of working on this all day. Do you mind waiting for a minute while I get ready to go?
Alice gently nodded. Oh, I don't mind at all. Take all the time you need, Patchouli. Koakuma perked up, sensing it was time to cover for her master.
Don't worry, Lady Patchouli. I'll keep Miss Alice's company until you get back. In fact, if you'll follow me, Miss Alice, we just got a new collection in. Lady Patchouli is quite proud of this new edition. As you know, with the magic books in this library.
He started floating off towards some far corner of the library, motioning for Alice to follow. Alice gave Patchouli another doll-perfect smile. See you soon, Patchouli, she said before walking off to follow Koakuma. Patchouli just awkwardly waved at her and watched her walk off. She shook her head, breaking the Alice-caused trance, and headed to her private quarters, picking her pencil up off the floor on the way. Patchouli entered her chambers, pulling the door closed behind her. First off, she needed to get rid of these baggy pajamas. She pulled them over her head and tossed them to the side, walking to today's outfit she and Koakuma had picked out yesterday. A long patterned skirt, a frilled button-up shirt, and a light coat over it. More dressed up than most of her outfits, but still comfortable enough to wear all day. As a side note, I feel like I'm reading the children.
Now you know how it
Like-
feels, huh?
Like I one day in middle school I had to take over librarian duties because that was just the thing we were doing in 8th grade. We were taking positions as various faculty members, and I got stuck with the library. And that day, I just happened to need to read to children.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
so now I feel like I'm back there, and I'm about to tell you about morals. After dressing up, Patchouli sat in front of her mirror. She ran a hand through her long hair, sighing in frustration. It was too tangled to leave the mansion with, but there wasn't any time to brush it out. She would just have to pin it up and hope it cooperated. Working swiftly, Patchouli gathered her hair into a tight loop and ran a large golden pin through it to hopefully lock it in. Once she was finished prettying herself up at the mirror, Patchouli moved over to her desk. Yes, she did have an entire library to work in, but a magician did have uses for a private space in their own quarters. Like working late nights without someone nagging you to go to bed, or those middle of the night epiphanies that you need to write down before you forget. Standing in front of her desk, Patchouli flipped through an old and worn tome. The spell she was looking for was there. She pressed her hand on the page, laying the book flat. Patchouli quietly read the text to herself, gesturing occasionally with her free hand. A deep red magic circle began circling on the floor underneath her, casting a soft glow. The circle shrank into nothing as Patchouli stopped reading, the spell now finished. Moving through the pages again, Patchouli repeated this for a blue spell, and a yellow spell, and a deep purple spell. She was now loaded up with a physical stamina support, an asthma suppressant, a mental energy boost, and a sunblocker. They wouldn't last the whole day, but Patchouli planned on being back here before they all wore off and she became miserable company. Preparations complete, Patchouli walked back in front of her mirror, turning side to side a bit and sizing herself up. She rarely thought of herself as charming or attractive, but this quick beautification had made her about as pretty as she could be. Still nowhere close to how strikingly elegant Alice was, but she lightly patted her cheeks and shook her head, trying to clear the self-conscious thoughts.
Sorry, I just lost myself because I made a comment in the in the chat. Okay.
Yeah, there was a bot that came in, I banned them.
Okay. Come on, Patchouli. You're just going to go out and have a nice time with your girlfriend, Alice.
The two of them had been dating for quite some time, and there was definitely a romantic aspect to their relationship now. But Patchouli still felt unsure about the big G word sometimes. Not that there was any time to ponder that now. She'd left Alice alone for long enough already. Patchouli walked briskly back out to the library.
And so, Lady Patchouli thinks that by redirecting the energy from here, then we could... Oh, Lady Patchouli. You're back and looking radiant.
Koakuma stood up from Patchouli's desk, where she had been sitting next to Alice and explaining the scrawled notes on the desk to her. Alice put down the sheet in her hand, turning to look at Patchouli. A smile filled with affection quickly grew on her face. Koakuma's right. You look amazing, Patchouli. Patchouli turned her face away, hoping the library was too dark for them to see her reddening face.
Thanks.
Koakuma pushed in Alice's chair behind her, and the dollmaker walked over to Patchouli. She put her arm through Patchouli's, linking their elbows. Well, shall we be off? Before Patchouli could muster a response, Koakuma moved to the edge of the room and waved the couple on.
Go on, Lady Patchouli. I'll see you two out. Yeah, I'll see you two out for your big day.
Alice gently tugged Patchouli forward, and the two of them followed Koakuma out to the front gate of the mansion. They unhooked their arms and flew off, waving back at Koakuma as they left. He actually watched Alice exit the bookstore Suzanon, waving to the store owner as she left. Patchouli was sitting. yeah, there's a space there.
Yeah.
I just want it to be funny.
Yeah. I got it. I got the joke.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's chat.
Yeah, they don't got to know.
Whoever is watching this.
Yeah.
Patchouli was sitting on a bench by the store, needing to rest for the third time this date. The bag at her feet held the novel she had bought there, along with a light wrap from a clothing store they visited earlier. Alice sat down next to Patchouli, her own bag now a couple books heavier. Thanks for waiting, Patchouli. I hope I didn't take too long. Patchouli shook her head.
No, I wasn't waiting long. I needed to sit down for a bit anyway.
Alice reached out to hold Patchouli's hand, concern on her face. Oh, I'm sorry. We've been walking around a lot more than we normally do. Are you doing okay? Patchouli idly rubbed Alice's hand with her thumb, trying to gauge how well she was doing.
I did use some support spells before we left, but
She looked at Alice, hoping she wasn't about to see disappointment on her face.
I don't know if I can keep walking for much longer.
Alice paused for a moment, thinking, and then gave a small, warm smile to her girlfriend. That's perfectly okay, Patchouli. Maybe we should go to a tea shop next, or... She trailed off, shaking her head. What am I saying? You need a break. The last thing I should be suggesting is us walking somewhere. Patchouli just stared at her, still convinced she was being a bad date.
Is that alright with you? We can still go to a tea place late, but I do kinda need a break still. I mean, if it's alright with you.
In response, Alice lightly squeezed her hand. Of course it's alright with me, Patchouli. I came out today to spend time with you, not to do all my errands. There was a pause in the conversation as the two of them looked at each other, and Alice tried to convey her sincerity through her facial expression. Patchouli broke eye contact first, turning to look out at the street. It wasn't like she thought Alice was lying. She trusted Alice more than that. But she was still convinced she was being a bad date. Her heart sank as she felt Alice's hand pull away from hers, but it floated back up when she saw Alice reaching into her own bag. Oh, where are my manners? I never showed you what books I got. Alice pulled 3 books from her bag and stacked them next to herself on the bench. The first book she showed Patchouli was a small but fairly thin paperback. Some of the flowers around my house haven't been doing well so lately, so I picked up this beginner's guide to gardening. She put that book down and picked up the second book. It was much larger than the other two, with a hard light blue cover. This one's a clothing designs book. I've been wanting to try some new outfits for my dolls, but I need some inspiration on what to make them. The third book was another paperback, with an intricate painting on its cover. And this one's the latest in the series I've been following. It's a romance and drama about a royal lord and a cunning servant. It's pretty exciting, but I totally forgot that the new one was coming out soon. I'm glad we came here today. Patchouli perked up a little when she saw the third book.
Oh, I know that series. I read the first book a while back, but I never picked up the rest of it. I'll have to find it again, if it's a series you like.
Alice's eyes lit up with excitement. You should read it. I know you'll love it. There's these really tense scenes that always get my heart racing, where there's so much at stake and characters are taking huge gambles. It's really thrilling in its own way, and the relationship between the Lord and the servant, they're totally different people, but they're so committed to each other. The servant is super mysterious and always carrying some kind of weapon, but always works so hard. And the Lord, she trailed off, thinking. Actually, maybe this series wouldn't be that exciting for you. Now that I think about it, the Lord and the Servant really remind me of Miss Ramilia and Miss Sakuya. That got a small laugh out of Patchouli.
What? You think someone's been making up stories about my housemates?
And there was that dainty giggle that always caused a pang in Patchouli's chest. Well, considering some of the rumors I hear about those two. She laughed again when she saw Patchouli's confused expression, waving it off. Sorry, I'm just having fun. I haven't heard any rumors like what's in these books. Patchouli shook her head at Alice's antics, smiling despite her disapproving tone.
If it's nothing like the books, what kind of rumors have you been hearing?
A lice tapped her chin. Oh! Oh!
I'm happy I wasn't the only one who didn't realize that was Alice at first.
Oh my god! B actually was pretty funny, but a lice.
That one's next level because we couldn't even pick it up at first.
Alice tapped her chin, lost in thought.
That was pretty good.
Oh man.
Well, there was that one story about Sakuya breathing fire. Oh, and I heard about a woman who swore she saw Ramilia playing in the river. There was also... She trailed off, looking back in Patchouli? Question mark?
Looking into
actually-
the inside of her mouth, she's dumbfounded right now.
Actually, I could use a snack. If you're ready to go, I could tell you all the wild rumors I've heard over some sweets. Patchouli nodded, grabbing her bag and standing up.
Yeah, I think I'm good to keep going.
She took a few steps down the street and then stopped and turned around.
Actually, where's the tea place? I don't know the village too well.
Alice, her books in her bag, stepped next to Patchouli and took her hand. I'll lead the way then. Come on, it shouldn't be too far. The two of them kept walking for quite some time. Patchouli's energy from earlier was quickly getting worn down. She and Alice had chatted about whatever crossed their minds as they walked, but Patchouli's responses were getting slower and shorter. Patchouli, Alice started to say, slowing their walking pace. I'm sorry, I didn't think the tea shop would be this far. Do you need to sit down for a bit? Words were hard for Patchouli right now, so she just nodded in reply. They walked to a bench on the side of the road. Alice laid down her bag and carefully gathered her skirt before sitting down. Patchouli nodded and dropped her bag on the ground and nearly collapsed onto the bench. Alice slowly took Patchouli's hand in her own and started stroking it. I'm really sorry. I guess I don't know this village as well as I thought I did. Are you alright? Patchouli sighed, her own frustration rising.
It sucks. I used all my support magic before we left, and I'm still getting tired super quick. It's...
She ran out of words, exhausted and irritated at herself. Alice gave her hand a tight squeeze. Don't be so hard on yourself. There's nothing wrong with being tired. Maybe I planned too big of a day out. You've been working really hard on your research lately, right? And if you aren't taking the time to rest properly, it makes sense you'd be tired. Patchouli stared at her for a moment, trying to sift through all the critical and negative emotions in her mind.
Maybe you're right, but...
She pulled her hand away from Alice and looked down at the ground.
When stuff like this happens, I wonder why you even spend time with me. You'd probably have a better time today if you came here with Marissa, or Kine. I'm slow and tired, and antisocial, and...
Patchouli? Alice got off the bench and crouched down in front of Patchouli so she could look at her. Don't talk about yourself like that. I'm here with you today because I enjoy your company, and I want to spend time with you. You're clever and thoughtful and committed and insightful. And it hurts me to hear you talk so harshly about yourself because I love you, Patchouli. That's why I'm here with you today. Not anyone else. I nothing. Forget it. Patchouli's tangled emotions ground to a halt.
Wait, what was that last thing you said about me?
Alice paused for a moment and then blushed. I said that I love you. Time seemed to freeze for Patchouli. Alice loved her. It was true that they had spent a lot of time together, especially lately, and Patchouli did always enjoy seeing her. But love? She was still getting used to the idea of them being girlfriends.
Huh?
I I guess I guess the nuance is that it's supposed to be girl space friends,
Yeah, I guess.
but the past few times it's been written, it's girlfriends.
I mean, earlier on, it did also say like the big G word, like referred to it as the big G word. So I just assumed, you know, that they were already a thing. This is. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll roll with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently, you date before you love in this universe.
I'm not gonna make a comment, but okay. Her chest tightened as she realized she couldn't say it back to Alice. Her favorite person in the world was pouring her heart out, and all she could give in return was disappointment.
Say something, idiot. The longer you stay silent, the worse it gets. Alice,
The dollmaker suddenly stood up, not looking directly at Patchouli. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. She looked down the street. Oh, I know that bakery. I think the tea shop is just around the corner. She paused for a moment, still not looking at Patchouli. Just wait here a second and I'll bring back some tea for us, okay? Patchouli reached out a hand as Alice started walking away.
Alice, wait.
But Alice did not even slow down, walking quickly to the distant storefront. Patchouli slumped back into the bench, completely dejected.
Great work, Patchouli. This may be the worst mess you've made in your entire life.
And here we are! Racing Udangane Inaba swept her arm out, presenting the nighttime scene of Aente to Patchouli and Alice. You two go get settled in. I need to I need to go check the forest for anyone else trying to get here. Alice nodded her gratitude to Racing. Thank you for guiding us here. The moon rabbit shrugged. Just doing my job. Now if you'll excuse me. She walked back into the forest, quickly vanishing from sight between the tangle of bamboo. Patchouli took a glance around. The awkward misstep from earlier that day was, well, not completely cleared up, but at least simmering in the background instead of immediately making Patchouli want to teleport herself to Makai. Tonight was a full moon, and Aente was holding one of their regular moon festivals. Alice had been concerned that coming here would push her too much, but Patchouli was determined to make up for being a bad date today. Countless paper lanterns were hanging around Aente and the forest clearing. A few large mortars were scattered around where yokai rabbits were pounding mochi and singing in time. Several stalls offered a selection of food through the freshly pounded mochi that was the star of the show. Ringo and Seiran had somehow set up stalls next to each other and were both loudly bickering while promoting their own wares. Oh god, I've got another character in this scene.
Yep.
Hey, Patchouli, Alice! They both turned at their names being called and saw Marissa waving at them across the clearing. She was sitting next to Reimu at a low table with cushions around it, a small bottle and several plates of food in front of them. Patchouli and Alice walked over to the table and sat down to join them. Good evening, you two, said Alice. Patchouli just waved at them. Hey, great to see you two. Here. Marissa pushed a small plate stacked with green-tinted mochi towards them, pausing to grab one for herself. You gotta try these. Reimu lightly smacked Marissa on the wrist.
Come on, these two just got here and you're already stealing food from them? Where's your manners?
Marissa just grinned before popping the stolen mochi in her mouth. Seriously, you should grab some before I eat them all. These ones have some, like, energy-boosting medicine in them. I figure if I eat enough of these, I'll have enough energy to invent a new kind of magic. Or something. Reimu rolled her eyes.
A new kind of magic? One that's ridiculous. 2, that's stupid. 3, the medicine in those is the exact same stuff Aiden sells. If you want enough energy to do something like that, just get the medicine and stop stealing all the food.
Marissa's eyes sparkled. 1. How do you think new kinds of magic get found? 2. And 3. A good magician has to check everything. Maybe being put into mochi changes the medicine somehow? I mean, how else am I... Tuning out the bickering couple, Patchouli and Alice both picked up a mochi and took a bite. It was stretchy and chewy and just a little sweet, with another odd flavor that Patchouli couldn't place. She said, mostly to herself.
This is pretty good.
Alice shook her head slightly, not as pleased with the mochi. There's some flavor in there that I just can't get over. Maybe it's the medicine mixed in? It's kind of bitter and grassy. Patchouli took another bite of her mochi, scanning the various stalls around them.
Well, there's plenty of food here. Maybe we...
I found ya, mochi thief! Patchouli nearly dropped her food as Moko loudly accused Marissa, clapping the ordinary magician on the back. Hey, look at all the food you got here. Is that why half the stalls here barely have anything? Marissa rolled her eyes. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Moko. She reached for another plate on the table, this one overflowing with red-tinted mochi. Here, have some of this. I don't like this one, so you can take as much as you want. Moko snickered and took the plate, then sat at the edge of the table. Jeez, you grabbed everything you could before you even knew if you liked it? Were you literally raised in a barn? Reimu huffed.
That's what I've been saying. Any normal person would try things a little and then go back for seconds if they liked it.
Marissa took a sip from her cup, calmly watching Reimu. That's funny coming from you, Reimu. The way you were grabbing the sake last time we were here. Reimu groaned in annoyance.
Oh, come on. That was completely different. It wasn't like I was...
Moko took a large bite of her red mochi and watched the two of them bicker for a bit before turning to Patchouli and Alice. You two seeing this? She gestured towards Reimu and Marissa with her hand holding the mochi, then finished the piece she was holding. Free entertainment, I tell ya. One of my favorite shows here. Done eating, Moko leaned an elbow on the table. So what's up with Gensokyo's favorite couple? You two read any good books lately?
Hi guys, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Right
Have
on
you read any?
time.
Have you read any good books lately, Scrappy?
I hope you all enjoyed, like, clear, concise narration. Patchouli and Alice both shifted uncomfortably when Moko called them a couple, but the moment quickly passed.
Oh, actually, I just picked up a book I've been looking forward to.
Actually, I am Alice, I just realized.
Yeah.
You are Alice? Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Good job filling in, folks.
Well, yeah, we did fill in.
Uh-huh.
Oh, actually, I just picked up a book I've been looking forward to. Alice reached into her bag and pulled out the royal drama she bought earlier. It's the latest in this royal romance and drama series I've been following. If it's as good as the previous few, I'm in for a great read. Moko nodded.
Huh. Royal romance and drama does sound pretty good. I've been meaning to read something lately. Maybe I'll start with that.
She turned to Patchouli.
What do you think, Mansion Magician? Is that one worth a read?
Patchouli froze for a moment, turning to Alice and then to Moko.
I read the first one a while ago, but I might try it again if the new one just came out.
Moko frowned slightly at her answer, but it quickly left her face.
Well, don't wait too long. I want to read it and talk to you about it next time you're here.
The three of them fell into an awkward silence. Even Reimu and Marisa noticed the odd atmosphere and dropped their empty spat. Marisa grabbed another green mochi and started snacking on it, but the silence dragged on.
So...
Marisa dragged the word out, as if stalling for time.
Moko, what else is going on here? What else is going on here tonight besides the food?
Moko leaned back on one hand and started counting off the fingers on the other.
Well, we got the mochi pounding, lantern making, moon viewing. Aaron's got some kind of contraption that lets you see the far side of the moon. I don't really get how it works, but I'm sure she'll explain it to you if you ask her.
At that moment, Moko spotted someone and waved them over.
Actually, maybe she can explain it. I couldn't get anything out of Aaron's wild science babble.
Raisin Inaba walked over. So-and-so walked over and sat down at the only empty edge of the table.
It doesn't look like anyone else is coming tonight, so I don't need to patrol for a while.
She trailed off, noticing that most of the table was looking at her expectantly.
Do you all need something from me?
Moko pointed towards the far end of Aente.
You know that contraption Aaron's got down there that lets you see the far side of the moon? How the hell does that work?
Raisin put a finger to her chin, thinking. The seconds dragged on, her fingers sliding off her chin, as she struggled to think of an explanation.
Well, there's something it does about bending the light waves coming off the back of the moon, and I think it uses a special kind of crystal to...
She fell silent, an uncomfortable expression on her face.
Don't tell my master this, but sometimes I can't keep up with the technical stuff she talks about.
Half a smirk came to Moko's face.
So even you don't know how it works, huh? She really is in her own world when it comes to this stuff.
She pushed off the table and stood up, grabbing a green mochi from Marisa's plate on the way up.
Hey!
Exclaimed Marisa, irritated that her stolen mochi was now being stolen from her. Moko looked directly at Marisa and took a bite of the mochi in her hand.
Well, I'm gonna go take another look at it. Maybe if I ask her to explain it to me like I'm a fairy, I'll actually be able to understand half of it.
She looked at each person still at the table.
Any of you want to come with me? I can't promise the lecture will be any good, but it really is something you should see if you haven't before.
Marisa waved her off.
Nah, I'll pass. I've had so much mochi tonight, I don't really want to get up for a bit.
Reimu lightly pinched Marisa's cheek.
Sorry, but I need to stay here and make sure Marissa doesn't eat herself sick. Again.
The witch shrugged in response, a sheepish grin on her face. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Raisin carefully stood up.
I think I better come along. It's kind of embarrassing, Oh, okay, that's a spot on my screen. I thought the I in embarrassing was a J.
Huh.
Okay. It's kind of embarrassing for me to not know how my own master's device works.
She looked at she looked at Alice and Pacioli.
What about you two?
The two magicians looked at each other for a moment. Alice spoke first. I think I would like to see.
My bad.
I think I would like to see this. I'll go along, she said as she rose from the table. Before Pacioli could move, Marissa spoke up.
Oh, actually, Patchy, could you wait up a sec? I need to ask you about some magic stuff before I forget.
Pacioli grimaced and glanced momentarily towards Alice.
Right now, Marissa? Can this wait a bit?
The witch shook her head.
No, it's gotta be now or else I'll lose this train of thought.
She searched through her pockets for a moment, producing a small notebook and opening it up.
See, I've been working on this thing.
Pacioli sighed quietly, then turned to face Alice.
Sorry, but go on without me. I'll catch up soon.
Alice looked at Raisin and then back at Pacioli. Okay, I'll see you soon then. She smiled slightly, but Pacioli didn't see much warmth in it. The three moon gazers walked off, leaving Pacioli at the table with Marissa and Reimu. Pacioli watched as Alice walked off, Moko talking loudly to the other two. The pit in her stomach tightened. The pit in her stomach tightened when they left, and Pacioli's self-negative thoughts came back to the front of her mind.
Idiot, idiot, idiot. You came here to be a good date to Alice, and the first thing you do was clam up and let her leave.
It took several seconds for Pacioli to register that Marissa was talking to her as she pointed to something in her notebook.
Sorry, Marissa, but I wasn't paying attention.
Marissa stopped talking, an awkward look on her face.
Oh, that's alright. This wasn't the important question anyway.
Pacioli glared at her.
Well, Marissa, what was so urgent that you held me back from my date?
Marissa put her notebook back in her pocket.
Patchy, what's wrong with you?
Pacioli scowled, weighing the risks and rewards of just fireballing her and leaving.
Marissa, of all the idiotic nonsense you've... Oh, it's me again. Wow, crazy. Wait.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Reimu cut her off.
You'll have to excuse Marissa. She's been a little stupid tonight.
She punctuated that with a sideways glare at the magician next to her.
What she meant to say was... You've been acting weird, Patchouli.
Oh yeah.
Added Marissa around a mouthful of mochi.
All closed off and fidgety, like something's bothering you, but you don't want to bring it up.
Pacioli looked at Marissa, then slowly turned to Reimu, then slowly looked back at Marissa.
Look, I appreciate it, but there's nothing to talk about. Today's just been a long day, that's all.
Reimu relaxed slightly, seemingly satisfied, but Marissa just leaned forward onto the table.
Come on, Patchy, you know that's not it. We know you. She
glanced at Reimu.
Or, I know you better than that. How many of those tea parties have we done with Alice now? I've seen you tired and grumpy before, but this is something new.
Patchy shifted uncomfortably, not expecting to have to actually talk about her feelings.
Listen, there's really nothing going on. I'm the same boring Patchouli as always. I'm doing magic research for Amelia. I'm spending time with my girlfriend, Alice. I'm doing a little embroidery when I find the time. Same as usual, that's all.
Marissa just pushed a plate of red mochi towards Patchouli.
Here, have a mochi and tell us what's going on with you and Alice.
Patchouli's eyes widened.
Wait, how did you...
Marissa shrugged.
The way your face screwed up a little when you mentioned her made it pretty obvious. That and the way you've been looking at her and not looking at her since you got here.
Marissa leaned back.
You know, even if you don't notice your emotions, they sure as heck show up on you.
Patchouli just stared at the mochi plate, completely caught off guard at being read so easily.
You don't think she noticed too, do you?
Reimu tilted her head slightly.
I mean, this is all started before you two got here, right? I doubt you sat down here and decided to start problems. She probably knows something's up.
Patchouli's mind started clouding over with negative thoughts again.
She knows. She knows. Of course she knows. You couldn't sort out this mess in your brain. You gave her the wrong idea. And now you're giving her the worst date of her life.
Hey, Patchouli.
What the hell was she even hanging around you for anyway? Was she just taking pity on you, like a dog left out in the rain? You know no one could really fall in love with you.
Patchouli?
It's all a mess. It's all a great big mess and you're to blame. Pick yourself up and go back to the mansion. Bury yourself in your books. At least you know how those work.
Patchouli!
Patchouli finally broke out of her self-critical spiral and noticed Marissa halfway on top of the table. That came through correctly, right?
Yeah.
Holding out a piece of mochi to her.
Hey, I don't know what the hell's going on with you, which is why you should take this and start talking.
Yes, talk with your mouth full.
Yeah.
She stared for a moment, dumbfounded, as Marissa offered the mochi to her. Patchouli took the lunar treat from Marissa's hand and took a bite as the human magician settled back into her seat.
As a side note, I just gotta say I hate it when people do that.
What?
Talk with their mouth full. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I hate that so much. Just finish
And
eating.
that's why I didn't start reading until I was done.
Now that would have been the power move, though. Narrating while eating would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Would have been pretty crappy. So,
It'll be crappy fan 92.
let's see. Right as Patchouli took the lunar treat from Maris's hand and took a bite as the human magician settled back into her seat. You had the one chance to call her a dark magician girl.
Oh well.
This red one wasn't as sweet as the green mochi, and there was a slight sharp flavor in the dough. As she chewed, she could feel her racing thoughts slow down from a gale to a light wind. I like that. Patchouli swallowed the last bite of her mochi, looking at an expectant Marissa and a concerned Reimu.
Well, it's...
She trailed off, still unable to organize her thoughts. The three of them sat in silence for a long moment, before Patchouli took a deep breath and tried again.
Do you two love each other?
Marissa gave her an odd look for a moment, but then put an arm around Reimu's shoulders.
Of course I do. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I love every second I spend with her.
She gave her girlfriend a kiss on the cheek.
Ain't that right, Reimu?
Reimu huffed and rolled her eyes, which was completely at odds with the blush filling out her face.
I think best thing that ever happened to me is kind of a strong way to put it, but I love her too. I miss her when she's not around, and she adds so much to my life.
She poked Marissa in the belly.
I could do with less of the thieving and eating everything in sight, though. She loves everything with every second with her. She misses her when she's not around.
Marissa snickered.
Aw, shucks, you know how to make a girl feel special.
Reimu rolled her eyes again, but made no attempt to leave Marissa's embrace. Patchy thought for a moment.
And when did you realize you were in love?
Reimu shrugged.
We've been close for as long as I can remember. It just always felt right having her in my life. And as we grew up one day, I just wanted something more than what we had. I didn't understand what I was feeling for a while, but it all made sense after she asked me to be her girlfriend. She wanted something more, but didn't understand her own feelings at first.
Marissa laughed at that.
That's not how it happened. You asked me first. Don't you remember that late autumn evening we were baking potatoes around the fire, and you said,
Reimu shook her head.
Yeah, but that was after you asked me out to the fireworks show in the summer. We were sitting on that grassy hill watching them go off, and you held my hand and leaned into me, and
all right, you don't have to spill everything about that.
Marissa's cheeks reddened for a moment.
But I guess you're right. I did ask you first, huh?
Reimu gave her a sly smile.
who could have predicted it? Marissa Kirisame, ordinary magician and extraordinary romantic, completely smitten with her childhood friend's charms.
Now Marissa smirked in return.
Speaking of being charming, weren't you pretty mushy with me when you asked me to be your girlfriend? I think it was something like, "Oh, Marissa, fairest maiden in all the land, I would be honored to take your hand in a beautiful romance."
Her impression of Reimu was high-pitched and doe-eyed, like some Victorian novel lead. Reimu laughed.
You're definitely making that up. I've never been that formal.
Patchy spoke up, confused.
Wait, you both asked each other? It took you months to become girlfriends? Well, after she
Reimu tilted her head towards Marissa.
asked me to be your girlfriend, I didn't know what to think. I mean, I really liked her then, but girlfriends? I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that with anyone. And Marissa was the closest person in my life. I was scared of what would happen if I said yes, or if I said no. And so we kind of shelved it for a while. It took me a while to sort out what I felt and what I thought, but in the end,
She put an arm around Marissa's waist.
I decided that I wanted to be Marissa's girlfriend, with everything that came with that. She needed time to figure out what she wanted, but decided to go with the person important to her.
Something suddenly clicked in Patchy's mind.
Oh no.
She groaned, laying her head on the table.
Oh my god, I've been a huge idiot.
Marissa grinned.
You know, for how smart you are, you...
Reimu cut Marissa off by cupping a hand over her mouth.
Whatever you were about to say, Marissa, now's not the time. What's going on, Patchouli?
Marissa pushed Reimu's hand off with a quick glare, but said nothing as Patchy formed her words.
All that stuff you were saying about each other, about being the best part of your life, and missing each other when you're not around, and not understanding your feelings at first.
She fell silent again, face still firmly on the table. Marissa and Reimu looked at each other, confused, before Marissa gasped loudly and pointed at the defeated magician.
Wait, don't tell me. That's how you feel about Alice, isn't it?
Patchy sat up with a finger to her lips.
Shush! Not so loud.
Marissa snickered.
Still, I don't hear you denying it. Oh my goodness, you love her? But then...
She lost her thought. finger on her cheek.
Wait, back up. What's going on between you and Alice today, then?
Patchy shifted uncomfortably, still very much not used to talking about her own problems.
When we were on our date earlier, she kind of said that she loved me.
Marisa's expression shifted to confusion.
Wait, but if you love her too, then...
Reimu cut her off, understanding Patchy's problem.
You couldn't say it back to her then, could you?
Patchy just nodded. Reimu slowly nodded back, sympathetically.
Yeah, I get how that would make things really awkward for you. Gods, that could have not been fun. Or that could not have been fun. Either one, really.
Yeah, I was wondering, like,
Yeah.
I know I had to get over my syntax obsession, but could have not been fun and could not have been fun technically mean different things.
Yeah.
Marisa jumps back in.
But hey, if you love her, why not just go tell her that right now? Sounds like an easy win to me.
Patchy cringed at this. Patchy cringed at that suggestion.
Just because I know how I feel now doesn't make the idea of love any less scary. It's embarrassing to tell someone that. And it's a big commitment, right? I'm just scared this could change things too much.
Marisa stared at her for a moment and then cracked up laughing.
Oh, come on, Patchouli. Take a step back and look at your situation here.
Patchy just looked at her, confused.
What are you...
Marisa leaned forward, smiling.
Alice has been inviting you to those tea parties for how many months now? She's taken you on how many dates now? And believe me, she wouldn't be doing half of that if she wasn't totally committed to you.
Patchy stared at her, her expression strained.
I mean, you're probably right, but how do I know for sure what she feels?
Reimu cut in, trying very hard to keep the judgment out of her voice.
Wait. Weren't you just saying that she already told you she loves you?
Patchy froze and then stared down at the table. Goodness.
I'm being an idiot again, aren't I?
Marisa snickered.
Hey, at least you're catching on to it. That's better than most of us idiots ever do.
This is a very quiet moment. Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Hello.
Okay.
Yep.
Whoops.
Nice while it lasted. A quiet moment fell over the table before Patchy broke it.
What do I do now? I wanted to know, but things were pretty bad earlier, and I don't know how to talk about it.
Reimu had to try very hard again to keep her voice non-judgmental.
Patchouli, you know what you did just now? Or you know what you did just now? The whole talking through your emotions with someone else thing? Just do that again.
Patchy hated the sound of going through. Wait, what? Patchy hated the sound of going through this again, but
I do have to do that again, don't I? Maybe it'll be easier the second time. Oh, but I also need to make up for what happened earlier today. How do I do that?
Okay, which one is this? Is
it's
this-
Reimu. It's
Okay.
Reimu.
Yeah, I would just say Reimu.
Yeah, okay. Patchouli, do you know what an apology is?
Patchy's cheeks flushed with shame.
I know, I've been an idiot tonight, but come on now.
Reimu waved her hand.
Sorry, I've been crabby for no reason. You're still new to talking about emotional stuff. Of course you're going to be out of practice.
Patchy slowly relaxed, red cheeks fading.
So, what now? Do I just apologize and tell her how I feel now? Should I rehearse it or something?
Marisa shook her head.
Nah, for this kind of stuff, it's better if you just let your feelings do the talking. Just get in there and let it roll.
Reimu added on.
Well, don't completely stop talking or thinking. It's good to still watch what you're saying, but it can be hard to hard to plan everything. I can't even read this one for some reason. Everything it. I think that's what messed me up. Plan everything it. That's weird. You should have some idea of what you want to say, but you're probably going to be winging it on the details.
Patchy nodded, her determination growing.
Should I go now? Should I wait for a good time?
Reimu shrugged.
Up to you. But if you know what you want to tell her, you might as well go as soon as you can.
Patchy sat for a moment, thinking. Oh my. Patchy sat for a moment, thinking, and then slowly stood up.
You know what? I'm sick of feeling stupid and awkward. I'm going to do this now before I lose confidence.
Marisa raised an arm, hyping her up.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Go get her, Patchouli.
Patchy started to walk off. But paused and turned towards them.
Thanks for helping me sort this all out.
Reimu waved her off. Reimu waved her off.
Hey, save the thanks for after you come back with your girlfriend.
Patchy nodded.
Well, wish me luck.
She said before walking off. After she left, Reimu turned to Marisa.
So, how do you think that conversation's going to go?
Marisa shrugged.
As you just saw, Patchouli's a total dweeb when it comes to knowing or explaining her own feelings. But if there's anyone in the world who will be patient and understanding with her, it's Alice.
So,
I think Gensokyo is about to get its newest power couple.
Okay, this is Avery, who we did not assign. I'll just take over for them. I don't know what any of these characters are supposed to sound like. And after all those light waves get and after all those light waves get here, the inversion filter blocks out all the normal light from the moon, so we only see the curved light from the far side. Any questions? Patchy came upon the group as Arin was finishing her explanation. Moko had a hand on her chin, contemplating, while Raisin and Alice looked just a little lost. Okay. Before any of them could ask their questions, Arin turned as she heard Patchy walk up. Oh, and now Patchy's joined us. Welcome. Would you like to take a look at the hidden side of the moon? Patchy shook her head.
actually,
She looked at Alice.
Alice, could I talk to you for a bit?
Alice gave her a half smile, mildly confused. Certainly. What would you like to talk about? Patchy hesitated.
I'd prefer if we didn't talk about it here.
Raisin spoke up.
Oh, if you want some privacy, there's a little grassy clearing just a couple of minutes that way.
She pointed into the forest.
You can still see Ayante from there, so you won't get lost.
Thank you, Raisin. Alice looked at Patchy. Shall we? The walk to the clearing was both too long and too short. Patchy's heart and mind were racing the whole time, but she still felt entirely unprepared.
Just have the conversation I had with Marissa and Reimu again? It's not like I can ask Alice what love feels like to her, not after I botched it back in the village. I have no idea how to do this, but I have to believe Alice will understand. Or if she doesn't, I probably have enough magic left to teleport myself somewhere and dig a hole and live there forever.
They finally reached a clearing. Alice turned to face Patchy, trying to hide her concern. So, what's on your mind? Patchy sat down on the grass. A moment later, Alice sat next to her.
Well, it's
Her confidence from before was quickly fading, and she was having trouble finding the words. She sighed, deciding that a bad opening was better than nothing.
Alice. I need to apologize to you for earlier today. I completely overreacted and I ruined this date for no good reason.
Overreacted? Alice Alice looked down at her lap. You mean what I said to you after the bookstore? She turned her gaze to the sky, looking at the bright white moon. You don't need to apologize for anything, Patchy. I forget her name. You don't need to apologize for anything, Patchy. You don't need to apologize for anything. If anyone should be saying sorry here, it's me. Her voice was even, but her hands were gripping her skirt tightly. I clearly misunderstood something, and then I put you in a difficult situation by saying something inappropriate. I'm very sorry I put you through that, Patchy.
Wait, Alice,
Crap. This was completely backfiring in Patchy's face. She started to reach a hand out to Alice, but stopped her hand halfway between them.
This is probably a bad idea, but can you tell me why you love me?
Alice looked back at Patchy, her face a mixture of confusion and sorrow. Are you sure you want to hear that? Patchy, spurred on by her girlfriend's sad expression, placed her hand over hers.
I had a talk with Marissa and Reimu after you left. I want to hear this, Alice.
Alice smiled wistfully. You know, Moko and Raisin and I also talked for a bit earlier. She looked out back up at the sky. Patchy, if there's one reason I love you, it's because you remind me that there's so much more to the world than I know. She paused for a moment. The way you work so hard on your magic reminds me that even the things we can't really see are infinitely deep. Even with Kawakama walking me through it, I could barely follow your notes. The level of magic you work with is very impressive. Her grip on her skirt slowly relaxed. You always bring a wonderful perspective to anything we talk about. Your mind is so different from mine, and your insights can help me see anything in a new light. She let go of her skirt, taking Patchoul's hand in her own. The feelings I get in my heart when you're around me are unlike anything I've ever felt before. It makes me believe that my own life can be far fuller and more beautiful than I imagined. And being with you just feels right. It's like I'm with an old friend and a shining star at the same time. She finally turned to look at Patchouli, her eyes glistening. So that is why I love you. That is how I know that I love you. As her girlfriend spilled her heart, Patchouli couldn't stop the bright red colors in her cheeks.
Wow, that's...
She trailed off for a moment, lost. She trailed off for a moment, lost, and then shook her head.
No, wait, I need to tell you something.
She looked into Alice's eyes.
Alice, every moment I spend with you feels like a special event to me.
Her eyes slid off to the side, unable to look directly at her girlfriend while pouring her heart out.
I miss you whenever you're not around. You're the most exciting part of my life.
She paused and took a deep breath to steady herself.
I know I'm difficult, but it's taken me a while to figure out what I really wanted. And after tonight, I finally found my answer.
She looked back to her girlfriend, cheeks burning.
Alice, I love you too.
Alice's voice was strained as she spoke, tears brimming in her eyes. Patchouli, you're not just saying that for my sake, are you? I don't want you to say something you don't mean because you felt pressure to. Patchouli squeezed her hand, smiling slightly.
No, Alice, I really do mean it. Marissa and Reimu helped. Whoa!
Her sentence ended abruptly as Alice tightly embraced her. She could feel Alice's tears on her shoulder. I was so scared I would never get to hear you say that to me. Alice squeezed her and pulled back, wiping her tears. Milka was quick to pick up that something was going on between us, but she was completely off the mark about what was happening. She laughed, wiping her tears again. Honestly, when you asked to talk to me in private, I was afraid you were going to break up with me. Patchy recoiled.
What? No. Did she really tell you that's what I was thinking?
Alice nodded, still smiling. Yeah, she did. For how much she notices about others, she's actually quite terrible at understanding their emotions. Patchy huffed.
What was she thinking scaring you like that? If she's going to be a jerk like that, then I should.
The long physical and mental toll of today, as well as the intense emotions of her time at Aente, suddenly caught up to Patchy as her support magic from earlier wore off. She flopped backwards onto the ground, too tired to move.
I think I'll pay her back another time.
Alice crawled next to her, alarmed. Patchy, are you okay? Patchy smiled weakly at her.
You know how I always use a bunch of support spells before I leave the mansion? Well, they all just ended, and it's been an extra long day today.
Alice frowned, not liking that answer. Goodness, we really did keep you out too long. Should we get you home now, then?
In a bit. Right now,
She raised an arm towards Alice.
I think I want to watch the sky with my girlfriend for a bit.
Alice smiled and took her offer, laying down next to Patchy and snuggling up inside her arm. All right, just for a bit. It is getting late, you know.
I feel like
It was hard.
I feel like I'm getting called out.
It is getting pretty late for you, huh? Crazy.
It was hard to tell how much time had passed. They couldn't hear anything from Aente out in this clearing, and Patchy had dozed off a couple times.
Also, I don't know how much is left, but I need to use the bathroom.
Alright.
Alright, you can.
It's almost over, to be honest.
Oh, fair enough. Talk amongst yourselves for a little bit then.
Okie
Oh.
dokie.
Oh.
Like,
You know, Harry read the story already. We could have just kept going.
yeah, we could have kept going if you did read it.
Too late now, though. What can I say? So,
Whatever. Break time for me.
yeah. How about them there sports, yeah? Mm-mm-mm.
How about them Touhous?
Them Touhous.
You know, we're approaching the end of the story, and I'm not completely tired, and I don't know why.
It might be because you ate for half of the story.
What? No, that can't be it.
No, totally not.
The food is gonna come back. Come back after we finish. We're gonna finish this story, and you're gonna be dead fucking tired.
Oh, I already expect that to be how it is for me. I already am dead tired. So it's not like he's gonna help me anytime soon. You know, I have work at 9 in the morning tomorrow. That's gonna be fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So me being tired at 6 p.m. means it's gonna be pretty good for me then. Yeah.
Get
I'll
to
prob-
go to bed early so you can wake up early.
Yeah, yeah. It's all lining up properly. It's crazy. Now watch me not fall asleep until 5 a.m. The past like 4 days, I've been like, man, I'm really tired. I might go to sleep early. Then I end up staying awake until like 7. And by 7, I mean 7 in the morning. I see that this is not going to be one of those legendary conversations where we talk about something stupid.
I'm like checking gotchas right now.
I'm checking out. I got nothing going on in this brain at the moment. Just words, thoughts, processes,
I have no
knowledge,
knowledge.
Lamborghinis.
But you know what I like more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
Knowledge. Man, I love that ad so much. Like the best part is that like it is just a YouTube ad. It was originally a YouTube ad, but it became a meme because of how funny it was unintentionally.
Yeah, yeah, it was just really funny how this guy's flexing his Lambos.
Yeah,
And then he just says, "But you know what I like more than my new Lamborghini? Knowledge.
knowledge.
That's why I installed this bookshelf for my books. Materials."
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh man, what a legendary part of mid 2010s history.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes I wish I didn't get YouTube Premium because there are some really entertaining ads that I miss out on nowadays. But then I remember that most of the ads aren't entertaining, you know?
So like I've never used an ad blocker and I've never paid for YouTube Red or YouTube Premium or whatever the hell they're gonna rename it to 5 years down the line.
YouTube Deluxe is gonna be next. I already feel it. It's gonna happen.
So
Or
so
YouTube
I
Plus.
so yeah, I've been seeing all the ads and recently it's just been non-stop Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh wow.
And it's all just the same ad.
Ugh. I miss the good old days where I would get the Dr. Squatch ads, the soap ads. The soap
Yeah,
ad.
yeah,
I remember
Yeah,
those.
I love those ads.
I'm
I
back.
get a-
Hi.
He's like, "Hey, your soap," Shh, and they would just like censor him. That
What
was
were we,
always great.
what were we talking about?
We're talking about YouTube ads.
Oh, good.
Yeah, nothing crazy this time.
Okay, so we're talking about ads. Can I just say how like stupid it is? How Twitch has the need to play ads every like 10 minutes.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Why?
Including your channel, Harry.
I don't know about my channel, but like whenever I try watching streams on my phone, like they play ads like every 5 seconds. It's stupid, and they always play like free ads or something.
Like
At
3
once.
30-second long ads at once.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like,
That's how it is whenever I go and watch like any VODs. He'll just play ads nonstop.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
Ads
annoying.
is a setting. Like I thought it was a setting.
It is a setting, but it's only a setting for if you're live.
Right.
So you can have it so it only plays one ad when it loads up the first time. But
Wait.
when someone's watching a VOD, it'll just play ads like every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's
A VOD.
Yeah,
it
it's
be
rough.
Twitch is dumb.
Twitch is evil. Twitch is getting that money.
No, they ain't. They're hemorrhaging.
Anyway,
We can continue.
it was hard to tell how much time had passed. Wait, where am I? I couldn't hear anything from Ayante out in this clearing, and Patchy had dozed off a couple of times. She was seriously fatigued, but spending this quiet time holding her girlfriend that she loves made up for that. What she couldn't make up for, though, was the chill that was seeping in through her clothes. It was a relatively warm night, but laying directly on the forest grass was threatening to give her a cold. She tried to pull the dozing Alice closer to herself, but just ended up shivering and woke her up. Hmm? Alice yawned. Oh, what time is it? She rubbed her eyes. Oh, no, don't answer that. I think it's late enough now. She shifted her way out of Patchy's embrace and got to her feet. Oh gosh, come along. We've been out here too long. In Patchy's exhausted state, it was one struggle to get Patchy standing up, and another struggle to get her back to Ayante. She quickly gave up and leaned on Alice for most of the walk back. As they stepped into the clearing where Aunt Aente was, it was immediately obvious that the party was over. The lanterns were all taken down, and the food stands and tables had completely disappeared. Raisin was standing next to Moko, talking to a yokai rabbit, but turned towards the couple as she heard them emerge.
Oh, there you are.
Raisin quickly told the yokai rabbit, and she departed as Raisin and Moko approached the magicians.
It's awfully late out, you know. We thought you had left already.
Moko moved to take Patchy's weight off of Alice, putting her arm around her shoulder.
Hey, what happened to Miss Snoozy here? Is she alright?
Alice smiled. She's fine. She's just had a long day. I think it's time I take her home. Raisin looked to Moko.
Sorry, but I'm still busy here. Would you mind escorting them out of the forest? I don't want them getting lost this late at night.
Moko hefted Patchy fully onto her back, carrying her like a piggyback ride.
Sure, no problem.
She turned to Alice.
Follow me, Alice. We'll be out of here in no time.
Alice turned to Raisin as Moko started walking. Thank you for helping with everything tonight, Raisin. I'm really glad I came here. And can you give my thanks to Arian too? Raisin beamed.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself here. It's a lot of work to put on these festivals, so I'm glad that you liked it. Oh, it's good that you liked it. I read it's glad that you liked it. Oh my god. So it's good that you liked it. And I'll let my master know too.
She lowered her voice slightly.
How did your talk with Patchouli go? Is everything alright?
Alice laughed. Oh, that? Moko could not have been more wrong about what was going on. It turns out that she needed some time to figure it out. Pardon me. It turns out that she needed some time to figure it out, but she does love me too. Raisin's face lit up.
Wow! Congratulations! I'm so happy for you two.
Congratulations, you've won.
Congratulations!
Before Alice could say anything, Moko called out from the edge of the forest.
Hey, Alice! We gotta get a move on.
Alice turned towards her. Just a can't yell. Just a moment, Moko. The phoenix. Oh, that's Moko, I think.
Yeah, Moko isn't actually a phoenix, it's just a metaphor.
That's pretty rad, not gonna lie.
A metaphor for what?
Well, if she dies, she comes back to life anyways.
Okay.
And she has fire. She has some ability to manipulate fire.
Okay, so she's partially pyrokinetic.
She's a phoenix without the bird part, huh?
Yeah.
She's the Arizona city.
Yeah, I
Phoenix.
guess she is. The phoenix rolled her eyes and shifted Patchouli on her back. Thank you. We'll have to come back another time, and I'll tell you all about it. She bowed slightly. Good night, Raisin. Raisin bowed back, smiled.
Good night, Alice. I'm looking forward to seeing you here again.
The two of them waved at each other. The two of them waved at each other as Alice briskly walked towards the forest to catch up with Moko. Their walk out of the forest was mostly quiet, occasionally broken by Moko warning Alice to look out for a high tree root or some uneven ground. The forest was too dense for the full moon to be of much help, but Moko's pyromancy kept a glowing warm orb near the three of them. Patchouli was too fatigued to do more than lay against Moko as they moved. At least Moko's intense body heat chased away the cold that had gripped her before.
Hey, Alice.
Moko whispered loudly, as if Patchouli was not awake and right next to her. Yes?
How'd, your little talk go? Everything good?
Alice chuckled. More than good, Moko. It went exactly opposite of how you predicted. Moko bellowed a laugh, and then remembered that she was carrying someone.
Oh, sorry, Patchy.
She snickered.
I was that far off the mark, huh? Well, if that's one thing... Well, that's one thing I'm glad to be wrong about.
You know, Patrolli was rather irritated at you for your poor prediction. Patchy couldn't see Alice, but she could Patchy couldn't see Alice, but she could definitely hear the smile in her voice. It was honestly really cute of her. I think you two have a score to settle now.
Hey,
Patchy spoke up.
you didn't have to tell her that.
Alice giggled. Sorry, dear, but it really was sweet of you to try and stand up for me like that. Moko tilted her head back to talk to Patchy.
A score to settle, eh? I haven't had a good rival in a way. Oh, huh? I haven't had a good rival in a way.
Maybe
What is it?
Maybe it was supposed to be.
while,
I think
Marcus.
it's meant to be a while, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been like a. They were probably typing a score to settle A, and they were probably thinking about like A while writing while, and they came out as way. That's the whole psychology thing going on.
Insert settle it in Smash joke here.
Mm.
I haven't had a good rival in a while. Should we have a battle next time you come here?
Patchy just huffed and said nothing. When they when they all reached the edge of the forest, Patchy was feeling warm and rested enough to move on her own. Moko carefully led her off her back, and Patchy stood on her own 2 feet.
Give me a second. Okay. Hey, Moko.
Patchy trailed off. Moko raised an eyebrow at her, but she was too tired to take revenge on Moko right now for scaring Alice earlier.
Thanks for carrying me.
Maybe she just made up for it anyway. Moko smiled.
Hey, no sweat.
The Touhou characters even sweat. You know what? Don't answer that.
Probably
She
don't, to be
turned.
honest.
She turned to Alice.
Both of you get home safe, okay? If something happened to you because you were out here too late, Aaron's never gonna let me hear the end of it.
Alice nodded. Don't worry, we'll be safe.
Well, I'll hold you to that then. Good night, you two.
The 3 of them waved at each other as Moko headed back into the bamboo forest. Alice took Patchy's hand in her own. Well, dear, how are you feeling? Patchy stood still for a moment, trying to gauge her own energy levels.
I can probably fly back to the mansion, but I think I need to sleep for 14 hours afterwards.
Mood.
Let's get you home quick then, Alice said before they both took off towards the night sky. I forget these characters can fly.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
a natural thing. Yeah, you just
Yeah, that's
expect it with these characters.
Yeah, you play one Touhou, you know everybody's gonna be able to fly, you know what I'm saying?
Unless it's the first
two-
game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Raimu doesn't fly in that one.
The 2 magicians touched down just outside the Scarlet Devil Mansion. Patchy stumbled as she hit the ground, but Alice quickly caught her. Just a little further, Patchy. We're almost there. Alice took her hand, and the two walked slowly to the mansion's front gate. Mei Ling was leaning against the brick wall with her eyes closed, kept warm by her long furred coat and the empty teacup on the ground beside her. Alice stopped before they reached the gate and turned to Patchy. She grabbed her other hand. Patchy, I know today was way too long, but I had a wonderful time with you. She leaned in and kissed Patchy on the cheek, face red and beaming as she pulled back. So get some sleep and I'll see you again soon, okay? Between the fatigue and the sudden affection, it took Patchy several seconds to form a reply.
I will Oh, I had a great time with you too.
She trailed off for a moment, using all of her willpower just to stay standing.
Alice?
Alice smiled gently at her. Yes, Patchouli?
Um,
Patchouli's face flushed to match Alice's.
I love you.
Alice's smile widened as her cheeks grew brighter. I love you too. They stared at each other for a moment before Alice pulled her close for an embrace. The two of them stayed in a hug for several moments, each of them basking in the warmth and presence of their beloved. As the moments dragged on, Alice noticed Patchouli leaning more and more of her weight on her. Finally, Alice pulled out of the hug while laughing, holding Patchouli by the shoulders so she wouldn't fall over. All right, it's past your bedtime. Come on, let's get you home. As Alice started half leading, half carrying Patchouli to the front gate, Mei Ling started approaching them as if she had not been asleep until the very moment. That's also me. I forget how I voiced her. Let's see. Miss Alice, Miss Alice, Miss Patchouli. Good evening. Do you have a good time out? Did you have a good time out? Alice smiled at her, hefting the barely conscious Patchouli. Hello, Mei Ling. We had a great time, but I think Patchouli was out too long. Oh, thank you for bringing her home, Miss Alice. I'll take this from here. Mei Ling bent over and scooped up Patchouli, easily carrying her in her arms. Am I cutting out?
Huh,
No.
what?
No, you're fine.
Alright, it's getting,
If
getting too quiet.
you heard me, I was talking to myself.
Honestly,
As
I
May-
didn't hear him, so.
I was hearing some kind of, like, feedback.
Oh.
Let's see.
Yeah, that
Mei
was
Ling
all I heard,
bent over. Pardon?
Yeah, the feedback was all I heard too, so didn't
Right.
hear anything that Harry was saying to himself.
Alright.
Mei Ling bent over and scooped up Patchouli, easily carrying her in her arms. As Mei Ling carried her girlfriend to the gate, Alice waved goodbye. Good night, Patchouli! Too exhausted to respond, Patchouli just raised her hand. Good night, Mei Ling! Mei Ling turned around and nearly dropped Patchouli when she tried to wave on instinct. Have a good night, Miss Alice. Get home safe. She pushed through the gate and entered the mansion's front door. Alice, seeing that her girlfriend was back home safe, turned away and flew off towards her own home. Mei Ling took Patchouli through the mansion and across the library. As she opened the door to Patchouli's quarters, Kawakama caught up with them. Oh, welcome back, Lady Patchouli. Patchouli weakly smiled at her as Mei Ling laid her in her bed.
I'm back, Koakuma.
Her work done, Mei Ling turned to leave. Have a good night, Lady Patchouli. Can you handle the rest, Kawakama? I need to lock up out front. Kawakama nodded enthusiastically. Yep, just leave it to me. Thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me. Mei Ling left, closing the door behind her. Kawakama gently helped Patchouli sit up. You need to tell me all about your date while we get you ready for bed. How'd it go, Lady Patchouli? Patchouli let Kawakama guide her, smiling at her.
Well, to make a long story short, I'm in love.
And that is the end of the tale.
We finished it.
I can't believe we finished this. Yeah,
Only an hour and a half too. Hey.
Good time, good
Yeah,
time.
good time.
how is it we finished this in like one session in like a relatively short time, and like shorter chapters take us like 2 hours?
The world may never know.
Well, I mean, I didn't narrate for half of it. Also,
Well,
this was
even-
a more dialogue.
Even when
Pardon?
you did take over, like it still went by really quickly.
Yeah, it's still zoomed. This is definitely because of it being dialogue heavy. Like, while it takes a
Yes.
while to scroll, there's a lot of, like, double spaces because of the sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And my familiarity with these characters is so sparse I can only ad-lib so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
Although it seemed like this was gonna be like a 4-hour long episode the way it started off, not gonna lie.
It did take a while to start.
Right.
Literally, it took a while for anyone to even say anything because we didn't even know if we were there. Or
That
not.
was like probably the most awkward opening we've had to an episode so far.
The best one.
And that says a lot.
I was expecting Scrappy to start, but
Yeah,
no
I was
one
I was
said-
I was expecting Scrappy to say something, but like nothing happened.
Dead
I
silence. It was
was-
the best. It was the best.
I wasn't going to say anything until I actually saw gameplay on Twitch. I had to make sure everything was actually live.
Yeah.
Hi, folks. If you didn't know, I'm on time delay.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Twitch has delay?
Good
Yeah.
old-fashioned time delay. Oh yeah, look at them. He just killed that thingamajiggy. Oh, look at them climb up that pipe. Ooh, look at them roll off that. Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's the part where we all just comment on the game now. Take a shot.
Yes.
Except for Carmelita. Do not take a shot.
Yeah, instead, just scratch that one off your bingo card.
Oh, good.
I love my bingo. I'm like a
Are you-
49-year-old man. Finally getting into bingo.
Are you getting nostalgic for the LP we did like a month ago? Not a month ago. Was it last year? Scrappy.
So about a month ago.
Cool. We haven't. It hasn't even been that long since we did Sly, but like I already forgot when we did this.
We ended in December.
Right.
Wild.
But yeah.
So yeah, about a month ago. Crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I suggested this story because I thought it was cute and it was just a nice little thing to get us back into the swing of things, I guess.
Yeah, it's straightforward. I'm really curious about what exactly was going on when they were typing it because like the raw amount of times that the first letter of a paragraph was followed with a space
Yeah,
was
there was like 5 instances of those. How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
like that has to be like maybe like their keyboards messed up or something or they were like on their phone or something. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the story itself was pretty entertaining. All things considered, it was just you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I know it. Like, I noticed like a lot of the weird hiccups in that stuff in fanfics. It's kind of at this point, it's kind of one of those things where it's just white noise to me. I try to ignore it.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I think it's when you read it out loud that it starts to get like more noticeable.
Yeah.
Like-
It's like when I read this stuff on my own, it's like I see the mistakes, but it's just like I think in my head, oh yeah, I know what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Oh, sad.
And yeah. Oh, I can't wait to find out what you said I was sad for. Oh.
Well, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this well enough. Maybe helps I didn't have to narrate all of it.
Yeah, you got to sit back, relax, and eat your snacks for the first half.
No, I had to sit back, relax, and eat my dinner for the first half. Get it right.
Dinner's just an advanced snack for advanced human beings. Come on now.
Dinner is a big snack.
It is.
Dinner is an advanced snack. That's what I'm gonna call it now.
Yeah. If anyone
The
ever tries to warn up you,
Extreme
just say
snack.
extreme snack. No, that's a Linner. There's a difference.
Yeah, it was a cute story. I enjoyed it I enjoyed it by my sporadic familiarity with the Touhou cast.
Well, I think this is the kind of story where I don't think you need to know too much about the Touhou cast. Just, you know.
Well, it'd be nice to know what the heck Moko is. Oh yeah, she's a phoenix, metaphorically.
Right.
She's a phoenix, but not actually a phoenix, you know?
She's metaphorically a phoenix. It doesn't help that one of her spell cards has a phoenix in it.
Right.
Got that phoenix motif without being a phoenix. Crazy.
At least I think it's one of her official spell cards.
I think so.
I fight her in a fan game more often than I do in the official game.
I've tried fighting her in Imperishable Night. It didn't go well.
I still haven't beaten her.
Well, if it turns out that it's wrong, you know, just remember, we here.
We will get
Storytime with Scrappy.
We'll get cancelled because you are never allowed to get anything wrong on the internet.
Yeah, we don't condone misinformation on the internet.
I would have said like to actually Reimu doesn't fly, she floats, but if I tried to explain why that is, I'd probably get fucking roasted for not knowing it.
Oh my god.
Actually.
Touhou characters do not fly, they fall with style.
Actually, it's just gravity that's reversed, okay? I can't believe you guys didn't know that.
Oh no.
Actually, it's the moon's fault.
The moon.
I mean, isn't that actually a plot in a Touhou game?
It's a plot of a few Touhou situations.
Everything you be blamed on the moon. I respect it.
Like, there's one meme I saw a while ago, and it was Touhou incidents involve the seasons, the moon, what else?
Martha being an idiot.
Shit, what was it? Religion? That's another one.
Oh yeah.
You know, that one makes a lot more sense
Oh,
than
what
the
the
others,
hell?
not gonna lie. Imagine you're just like some anime girl, and like all of a sudden it's winter, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta go kill something. And you just start an incident, you know?
Well, Touhou 7 is winter is still here. It shouldn't be. I'm going to beat someone up.
It's like, oh my god, I just want spring to come already.
That's funny.
Okay, well, this went by. I thought this was going to be like a two-parter, but no, we got
Yeah.
through it relatively quickly, so...
I was not expecting it
yeah,
to
I
be
guess
done
we have
in.
to actually plan stuff.
Yeah, I was not
Yeah.
expecting this to be done in one go, but there you go.
Whoops.
So, as for next time, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I was
We don't
gonna.
even know if
Yeah.
we'll record next week.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
We have to find something.
Oh, that's the best.
Well, first of all, Tanner needs to turn up again, so...
I'll pester him about it.
Where in the world is Tanner San Diego?
Hey, again, I said it before, but like, if I can get him from Wario Land, I can get him for this.
Yeah.
See, Tanner likes Wario, though.
Then I
He
just,
clearly doesn't like Luigi.
then we just need to find a fic with Wario in it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, easy. No, that should just be the next one. We'll just look up Wario Fix, and then pick one for the next week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll consider
Like,
it
this
down
is
the
what you're
line.
missing, Tanner.
He probably. I highly doubt it. But yeah.
Yeah, Future Mario Brothers needs to be resumed. No, we didn't forget. And in the event that doesn't happen next time, we'll just read something else, I guess. Like, we got a backlog. I could write something if I felt like it.
And we have so we still have some like some one-shot stories that we need to like read through to see if they're good enough.
We should revisit
Good enough.
that one Sonic Store of Charmy.
Balls.
We should revisit Total Drama Equestria.
It gets
great
better,
one.
maybe.
It gets
I
better
actually
after 3.
like those when that period where the period when the characters were recapping like the other authors' stories. Some of those stories ideas actually, some of the story like summaries actually did sound interesting. So maybe I'll look into that in my own time.
I'll give this
The
one
one
more.
with the dragon dude.
I'll give this one more try.
Oh, the level.
Yeah. I don't want to be here all night doing this.
What do you mean? It's a 10-hour stream. Come on, you got 8.5 hours left.
Cause
Come on, it's the subathon.
Yeah.
Oh
Remember we
shoot,
were going over
mate.
this
Raise-
before. Just pull a
Raise
Snoop
that
Dogg.
timer, everyone.
I don't understand how people can do subathons.
I don't know either.
That was bad.
Could probably do one though, if I'm crazy enough. If I just wake up one day feeling dangerous, oh absolutely.
So after a point, I'm just like, yeah, no, I want the stream to be over. I can't do any more.
For me, it's basically just like, if I feel like I should go to sleep sometime, then I think it's time to stop the stream.
Okay, that's how I used. Oh, screw this. No, whatever. I'm stopping. Yeah, if I used to be like that. Like I used to stream at like 1 to 2 a.m. and then like sleep immediately
time.
after. But like that was not a great idea.
It's never a great idea, but sometimes, you know, if you got the day, got the time of day, don't got anything to do the following day, might as well, you know.
And you don't have anything to do the day after.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty crazy, right? Like, I was streaming Neptunia Sisters versus Sisters at 5 in the morning today. And, you know, this actually kind of loops back around to this whole Touhou fic because in that game, they have a Shanghai Alice maker
Yeah,
character.
they have Shanghai Alice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pretty funny, yeah. She got to
Yeah.
handle a ghost incident in an arcade because the ghost was like possessing, or it wasn't even possessing it. It was like a spirit created from just software that was never purchased. Good old Neptunia stuff.
It's
Still not as-
unsold Dojin stock.
Yep. Though still not as funny as all the Higurashi references in the game though. Yeah, the character literally named Higurashi. Her voice actress in both Japanese and English is Reina's voice actress from Higurashi.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Yeah. And every single scene, it's just a reference to something from Higurashi. It's great.
Yeah.
You remember
Nice.
that thing from Higurashi?
Oh, I mean, the best part is that like sometimes they'll just be talking about Higurashi. They're like, "Hey, yeah, so I heard that Higurashi was kidnapping people and killing them in the back of a shed or something like that." And I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then Higurashi's like, just chill. She's like, "Hey, I like cute things."
Yeah.
Spoilers for Higurashi.
That's the two modes of Higurashi. I like cute things and I like killing cute things. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to any of this.
Mm. So I think it's time to end it.
Yeah, let's end it all.
Right here, right
push
now.
me to the push me to the edge. All my,
All my
friends,
friends are dead.
I'll follow you to the ends of the earth.
I'll chase you to the ends of the earth.
Shocker!
Y'all need to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming to the point where it's
Harry needs sleep.
it's at the point where it's so late that I'm just going insane.
Oh, that's the best. I know exactly how that feels. It's me the past couple of days.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's just end it.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Anything else, Scrappy?
Stay safe, everyone, and I guess just prepare for more Mario this year. Maybe not next week, but this year.
Yeah. There's not gonna be another episode until like November. Bye.
Later.
Story time is over.